Hola a todos, welcome back to the Bruja Cat channel. Currently Stormy is grooming my head. Yeah, the good kitty. Thank you. Now my hair looks fabulous. What are you doing, cat? So today in this video, I'm going to be talking about the lack of diversity in the witchcraft community. So this means in terms of media like movies, TV, music, TV shows, stuff like that. So a lot of the media that we consume is very Eurocentric in terms of paganism or witchcraft, with various degrees of representation in terms of the Latinx community. And unfortunately, when it is done, it's done incorrectly. So this sort of leads into misinformation and misrepresentation. Furthermore, in Eurocentric witchcraft or paganism, they tend to differentiate male versus female practitioners. So this means that the term witch is not used for male practitioners, when in various practices it is very much the case. So this, in terms of Eurocentric witchcraft or paganism, there are male witches. Sometimes they don't need to be differentiated from female witches. I know in media such as movies, TVs, they like to differentiate them for the general public in order for this to be more consumer based, so that way the general public can sort of understand this overgeneralization of different practices. So this means that male practitioners, instead of using the term witch, are now given the term wizard, sorcerer, etc. So in the Latin American community, there really is no differentiation between male or female practitioners. You can have brujos or brujas. There are also brujes for sort of non-gendered terms. Spanish in itself is very gendered in the terms of vocabulary and grammar. So with the evolution of Spanish and language overall in our modern world, we are trying to become more inclusive to gender-neutral terms with the use of X or ease as well. What are you almost fall. Girl, you okay? She's okay. So these different practitioners can be called brujas, brujos, brujes. It all really depends on the type of practice that you're in. There are also curanderos, curanderas. There are different sort of santeros, santeras. So it really all depends on the sort of practice, the sort of path that you're in. And so I think it's because of this trend of witchcraft and paganism being represented in movies, TV, music, and social media, that this is sort of like a social trend that is happening right now, and more people are being drawn into this. They're being very intrigued by this and sort of wanting to know more. They want to learn more. And so I think it's a sort of responsibility of producers, directors, in order to do justice to these different sort of practices, to show them correctly. So from what I've seen, there have been a few attempts to make diversity from the Latinx community known in different sort of movies and TV shows. However, they really sort of dropped the ball. To really illustrate the lack of diversity in movies and TV, I could barely find more than 5 proper representations of actual Latinx brujos or brujas, just for my photo references, with many of these characters simply being a living stereotype or not even showing any of their Latinx practices, with any actual references being mainly misinterpretations of voodoo as baneful magic. And this sort of leads to misinformation to the general public, so they think that what they are seeing is a sort of positive reinforcement, sort of positive diversity in the witchcraft community. However, that is not the case, because this representation is misinformed and it's not proper representations, not correct. So while I think it is a very positive thing to have people of color represented in your movies and TV, it is not, however, good to have a token black character or token POC character, with many of these POC characters being misappropriations of their cultural background, or simply being living stereotypes. And I think this matters because in order to help educate the public about these different ATRs like voodoo, vodou, hoodoo, and other things from the Yoruba religion, it's sort of dismantling these different preconceived notions of these as baneful magic, as the devil's work, and different sort of evil practices that it simply is not. And we're actually furthering the use of terms that are very historically racially inclined terms. So terms like white magic versus black magic. And I think that within witch circles, it's sort of our responsibility, in order to change and evolve the language, within witchcraft to change these from white magic, black magic, to sort of light work, shadow work, or baneful magic. By using these different terms, we can sort of be more specific in our intention and remove the racial inclinations to these old, sort of antiquated terms. Hopefully in the future they can correct this and show proper representation for people that are from the Latinx community. They can properly show people that are following ATR, like voodoo, like the Yoruba religions. Also, by misrepresenting these sort of people in movies and TV shows, you're not actually giving that proper representation. So if you are trying to represent diversity by having a POC, a person of color, in your TV show about witchcraft, about paganism, but you are not showing their practice correctly, you are not helping the circle showing diversity. What you're doing is actually misinforming the public that cannot differentiate between fact and fiction. So there are different sort of drama TV shows, movies that are fictionalized. It's a fantasy world with different sorts of magic systems that don't actually happen in real life. But the general public, because they're not from these inside closed practices, these inner circles, they cannot differentiate what is fact and what is fiction. And so by only showing paths that are Eurocentric in witchcraft or paganism, you're not showing the full scope of diversity in the world. One example of this is the popularity in social media to Wiccanism, which is a Eurocentric religion. A lot of people that are sort of dipping their toes into the circle of witchcraft try to do so through Wiccanism. A lot of these witches simply don't know that there is another option out there. If they are someone from the Latinx community, they might feel more inclined, it might be more natural for them, something that makes more sense to them. I know as someone from Latin America myself, I'm from the Caribbean, when I sort of started researching about Eurocentric witchcraft, paganism from Europe, a lot of these deities, a lot of these pantheons and different sort of witchcraft systems just honestly seemed very foreign to me. So when I did start researching about different paths of witchcraft, of brujeria in Latin America, it just immediately snapped. Like, this is something that makes sense for me. This is something that I can take, that my ancestors would have known about, that it just culturally is more sensitive to my character, to the way that I was raised. So this is something that I've encountered personally on my social media as well, that there are people that have contacted me personally talking about that they never knew that there was this option within the Latin American community, that they never knew that you could be a witch and a Christian, that these paths don't sort of butt heads together, but they can work together in unison. And Latin America is actually very diverse in these different sort of practices of witchcraft, of brujeria, santerismo, curanderismo. There's a whole variety of different religions, different sects, cults, different sort of spiritualities that you can practice, different paths that you can take. However, some of these religions you need to be initiated into, so it's not some sort of practice that you can just start on your own, create your own little altar or mesa or whatever and start working with these deities. It's not how it works. So depending on the path, the religion that you want to practice, that you want to look into, you will have to contact a priest in order to initiate you into this path. So depending on which one, you can contact a mambo, a palero, a santero. So one way of explaining this is through Catholicism. If you want to convert to the religion of Roman Catholicism, you first need to contact a priest who will do your first confession, your first communion, and your first baptism. So this is sort of like initiation rites. These are ceremonies that are sacred in order to initiate you into that religion. And this is the same for different sort of ATRs, so like the Yoruba religion, voodoo, palo, santeria. These are different sort of religions that you can join, that you need to be initiated into. So depending on the religion, you can either be cut, you can be crowned, so you need to contact a mambo, a tata, a santero, palero. And it all depends on if this is the appropriate path for you to take as well. So when you do contact a priest or high-ranking official in this religion. They will give a sort of Platika with you. They will talk to you, have a consultation to see if this is the appropriate path, and they can't deny you. They are allowed to do that. They can say no if your intentions are not correct, if they are not right or aligned with their beliefs. They have the right to say no. And so I think that's another differentiation that movies, TV shows, and different social media don't understand about these different practices. And it's sort of diminishing the seriousness of this to different people. This is their religion, this is their spiritual practice, their spiritual path. For a lot of people, this is their heritage. This is oral tradition, oral history. This is really sort of deeply embedded in our roots for different people, to their African roots. So with that, there is also sort of an unethical marketing that's happening, where people are taking this trend from social media, running with it, trying to get paid. I see a lot of this online, unfortunately. Also, a little side note, with the emergence of Instagram and posts that are literally just about the aesthetic of witchcraft and things involving witches, some of the most powerful witches, some of the most powerful brujas, brujos, do not look like it, okay? Now, this is not saying that you can't look cute and be powerful as fuck, but it is important to note that you do not need to look cute, you do not need to live in this witchcraft aesthetic on Instagram in order to be powerful manifestation. And for all the brujos and brujas that I've encountered personally, the most powerful espiritistas that I've encountered are barefaced, barefoot, living up in the mountains or in the city, and they don't care what they look like. They are powerful as hell. So don't get all caught up in this whole witchcraft aesthetic that's happening on social media. A lot of it is sort of like a marketing ploy anyway. And honestly, a lot of these Instagram aesthetic posts just want followers. Furthermore, on social media, you can go on Instagram, you can go on TikTok, and even, yes, on YouTube, and there are real santeros, paleros, brujos, brujas, curanderos that you can follow right now. These are real people that you can follow. They can help mentor you, they can help give you advice, they can help guide you, they can give you different readings. It all depends on the practitioner. So hopefully my videos have been educational in showing this sort of full spectrum of diversity in Latin America, of showing these different sort of practices, paths, spiritualities, or religions that you can join. In the future, I will go more in depth into them. There's certain close practices that I cannot discuss because one, I'm not a part of them, and also because they are secretive for a reason. These are close practices where you need to be initiated into them. So if these sort of videos interest you about witchcraft, brujeria, espiritismo from Latin America, then make sure you subscribe. I have lots of different video ideas in the future that I am planning for, like Taino mythology and their pantheons. I will do different sort of mini-series that are explaining the differences between what is a religion, a spirituality, witchcraft, cults, sects, stuff like that. And I also plan on doing different sort of videos explaining the origins of witchcraft or brujeria in Latin America. However, it does take a lot of research, a lot of planning, and a lot of video editing. So I thank you very much for your patience. Those videos are on their way. I'm just doing lots of reading, lots of research, and I will have all of my references and all my sources as well. And as always, I will do my best to make sure that the information that you get is accurate. I do lots of research, so some of my videos may take some time to do, they may take time to upload, but that's because behind the scenes I'm doing a lot of research, a lot of reading. Also, I just want to say thank you so much to all my subscribers. I've watched this channel just boom in the last week. It's been only a week and I have 200 subscribers already. My TikTok and Instagram have been really blowing up with all of your messages, and I'm trying my best to reply to all of you. So as always, I will have my link tree in the description below if you do want to follow me on other social media platforms like Instagram or TikTok. Thank you guys so much for 200 subscribers. It's absolutely astonishing to me. Also, I've been debating whether I should do like a reaction series. If this is something that you guys are interested in watching, then let me know in the comments below what sort of movies, TV shows, or even music about witchcraft you guys would like to see me react to. Thanks for watching! Bye!